In video discussion number 5, I will be talking about Chapter 1 of the nation's agenda for disaster resilience. It mentioned that in 2011, there were multiple disasters in the U.S., with 14 contributed to weather disasters. In 2011, the damage of disasters exceeded $55 billion in property damage. And cumulatively, over 600 Americans died in these events. So this chapter talks about resilience and why we need resilience now, and how we can get resilience by the help of the federal government, and how to use resilience in our communities to make sure that in case of another event that happens, we can bounce back and try to protect our communities from different types of disasters. So one of the key terms that was talked about in this chapter was, of course, resilience. And resilience is the ability to prepare, recover, and adapt from actual events such as disasters, flooding. And on top of resilience, there's another term called disaster resilience, which is the process that can embrace inputs from engineering and the physical, social, and economic sciences. And natural disasters were also mentioned a lot in this article, and some examples of natural disasters can include blizzards, tornadoes, droughts, flooding, hurricanes, and wind damage. Now, of course, these aren't the only natural disasters, but these are the most prevalent that happen in the United States. Of course, there are more natural disasters that occur around the world, like tsunamis. And one of the muddy points I found while reading the article is, does the federal government watch over their money sent to communities themselves, or can communities decide where the money and aid can go themselves, like a block grant? Is it block grants or another type of grant that are sent to communities? And how do the federal government determine which communities get how much aid? Like, does it depend on how many disasters hit that area, and so forth? And a discussion question that I would ask the class is, do you think the federal government does a good job in preparing communities for a disaster and helping the resilience of communities? If you don't think the government does a good job, why don't you think they do a good job? And how can they improve their job? And if you think the federal government does do a good job, how do you think they do a good job? Like, what types of things do you think that they do a good job in? What types of programs? And do you think they give enough money to communities to help in disasters and resilience?